Oh boy, look at this. It's beautiful. Cory in the house for the Nintendo DS. This is truly a work of art. Like, look at this. It's so good. Even the critics, they just stay away because they know it's too powerful. Like, look at this user score. Look at this
Exactly.
beautiful user score. See, only 99 negative reviews, 7 mixed reviews, and 2,002 positive reviews. Like, a user score of 9.5. Here, what if we look up highest user score Metacritic? All right, here we go here. Best video games of all time. Yeah, sure. 9.5 would put it as the 11th best game ever made. You see, this game is a work of art. So yeah,
It is
let's
too
see.
powerful.
It truly is. But why do people like it? We must learn why it
As
is.
one as one may say, Cory is very beautiful
It truly is.
and is the predecessor to what you may call Obama.
Yeah, you see, the natural progression of life is we got Cory, then Obama. It's just like Pokemon. It's a beautiful method of evolution. All right, anyways, now we will read all of the reviews on Metacritic. All
All
right.
right.
So Eder said, 10 out of 10 would play again. The levels are set up so that first there's a collection of levels which require go here to do this puzzle solving, then action-oriented levels, sling shooting, jumping, wrecking people. You see, it's amazing. It's like
N-
what's not to like here?
Like, not only is there puzzle solving, but there's action too.
Yeah, what
Like some
more?
of the top games have that. Ocarina of Time has both puzzles and action gameplay,
Yeah,
and is considered
it's
one of the top games of all time.
yeah. But meanwhile, Sonic 06 has neither.
Sonic 06 kind of just like
It's just bad.
it's
All right.
like if a non-video game was a video game.
So true. All right, what now? Bossa Nathan. All right, here we have a true review. One talking about its deeper meaning. Rarely does a work so groundbreaking and epic in scale exhibit such a visceral, searing arc of human pathos. The first 3 or 4 times I played this game all the way through, I was like, this is idiotic, inane, why am I, a grown man, continuing to play this tedious, ludicrous, god-forsaken game? But then, by the 7th or 8th time, it finally hits you. Hallways? Why all of these infernal hallways? But of course, hallways are the archetypal totems of meaning. Cory is Godot, or I don't know. He is the one we have been waiting for. Cory in the House is not a video game. It is a primal scream of joy. Um, Luke Paz. The purest piece of art in human history, with Shakespeare as the main writer of this incredibly smart and intriguing story, Mozart as the composer of the thrilling soundtrack, and Da Vinci on the art direction of this masterpiece. Cory in the House breaks all the previous concepts on man-made perfection and may be the key to the human existence, since it defies every work made by God itself. Beautiful. Alright,
Corey
here.
literally transcends the bounds of human knowledge.
Exactly. This game is everything. Here we got a smaller one, but still a good one. I got one question for you. You like quality gaming? Then look no further. This game is the perfect blend of action and style, and is sure to keep you glued to your screens for billions of years. Oh, and
Yeah,
here we have an explanation for the bad critic reviews, which, as you can see, it was IGN, so of course they gave a bad review. You see, ignore the critic reviews. It's clear they were bribed by EA. You see, this is some insider information that you can't obtain without Cory in the House on the DS. See, an HD remake of the Atari 2600 game of the same name, Cory in the House adds motion controls and stunning 4D graphics. I would recommend picking up the Kinect sensor for your Wii U just to play this game.
no way.
It's
I,
it's so well said.
I'm literally like going to buy a Connect now.
So true. I just want to play Cory in the House and only Cory in the House.
I'm going to buy replacement Oculus controllers for my Virtual Boy now.
Yeah. You know, maybe on my PlayStation Vita I can load up like I don't know, an Atari Jaguar emulator just to play it.
Yeah, I'll just turn on the 3D slider on my Nintendo 2DS.
Yeah. All right. Now, not only is this game my game of the year, but it is the best game I have ever played. This game is able to perfect the one thing game companies have been striving for all these years, to be able to perfect the gameplay while still having an engaging and thrilling story. You see, what is the story of Cory in the House on DS? You see, what is the plot here? What does Wikipedia says? All right.
I
You
don't
see,
remember it
this is the
because it
beautiful
makes you
story.
wipe your memory.
Right. All right, well, hopefully we'll remember for a bit. All right, here, let's refresh our memories. Cory in the House is an adventure game that requires the player to play as Cory Baxter, a teenager who lives with his father, Victor Baxter, after Victor gets accepted as the head chef of the White House. You see, the thing with the White House is Cory eventually works there. He owned the place for a bit, hence Obama, which is the third
Yeah,
coming of God. The basic premise for the game is Cory, after winning a toy contest, starts an endeavor to sell bobbleheads. You see, this is a very smart play because who do you know that sells bobbleheads? No one. He's cornered the market, depicting the President of the United States to the citizen of Washington, D.C. You see, bobbleheads of God sell. The bobbleheads are taken into possession by the evil toy maker, who tries to utilize the bobbleheads as a means of hypnotic technology on the population of Washington, D.C. It's action-packed. And Cory is the sole person tasked with retrieving the bobbleheads to stop the hypnosis plan. It's amazing. You go through locations including hallways in the White House, a school, a mall, and streets of DC. You get to sneak past secret service agents, find items, throw pastries at teachers, and you can talk to non-playable characters. What
it
is
is a
not to
plot.
like here?
It is a plot that will make you go to heaven if you are a Christian or Jewish. If you are Buddhist, you'll reach nirvana like 5 seconds after. If you're a Hindu, you'll reach like moksha. It's just like that empowering of a game.
It's amazing. And if you follow Big Chungisism, you'll see him. Alright, additional features include mini games, which involve tapping the Nintendo DS stylus against the touchscreen along with music or stimulating connecting electrical circuits. You see, no, look at this. It was critically panned. Not just normally, critically. You see, the critics love it. You see, this is all fake news. This is all propaganda. Um, you see, yeah, it's all this was EA right there. So, anyways, haven't
Yeah,
had this much
IGN.
IGN, man.
Yeah, IGN just didn't like Obama.
They hate him. Anyways, haven't had this much fun with a game in a long time. I own an Xbox One, but keep finding myself putting down the controller and picking up my DS to play this game. Cory in the House sets the standard for what an amazing DS title needs. Cory has showed me so much. This game changed my life. Games that are known to be the best. Yeah, I don't think anything tops Cory in the House. By far has been one of the best games I have ever played. I have never seen a game with such great gameplay and beautiful graphics this decade. I rate this game a 10 out of 10. It's so beautiful. All right. Oh yeah. Simply put, the best game ever created. Cory in the House brings it all. Action, romance, suspense, comedy, adventure, and drama, all packed into one game. Disney brings a complex and intriguing storyline that will have you scratching your head until the very last scene of the game. Characters are the most real I've ever seen in a video game. Games such as Final Fantasy cannot even compete with Cory in the House's outstanding character development. The game makes you feel every emotion coming from our protagonist, Cory, as he ventures his way through the compelling environment of the White House. You see, that's the thing. No game has the White House. The White House is the most compelling environment. And now we get to the gameplay, which is just like everything else. It's completely and utterly outstanding. Slick but simple controls help Cory navigate around his gloriously animated surroundings. Brought to you by Frostbite. Cory in the House is the best game I've ever played, and it will always be the best game I've ever played. A game that truly stands the test of time. It simply cannot be topped. And you see, to prove to you guys that this game can predict the future, here, let's pull up Cory in the House on the DS. All right, if you look closely, you see, here we have Disney logo. We also have Nintendo logo. You see, they were on the same, same Holy Grail, same masterpiece. You see, this foreshadowed Sora being in Smash. It's beautiful. All right, here. Every night before my kids head to bed, I make sure to. Okay, this is really long. They're both all right. Every night before my kids head off to bed, I make sure to play them an episode of Cory in the House. They're both well into the middle age now and ask, "Father, please let us leave. I want to see the outdoors so bad." But I hush them and cut deeper into their legs so that they don't have such silly demands again. Their mother once tried to make an escape, but by golly, Cory was there at the door, waiting for the harlot, snapping her net in one incredible motion. He stood in a pool of her blood and announced, "Cory is in the house." I cried for days at the sight. Cory had his way with me for a fortnight, then ascended to the heavens one night before I could say goodbye. Distraught, I bought up all the 49-cent Cory in the House DVDs at Walmart and rushed home. My favorite was the one where he spelled ink on the White House seal. I enjoyed the DVDs, yes, for a long time. But slowly, my longingness for Cory grew, and my heart could not carry the burden of my longing. I had to become one with him, by any means necessary. I searched high and low, killing hundreds at the Disney studio set. But alas, someone finally told me, "Stop, you maniac! That show's been over for a decade now. Please get out." No more. I went home with my head held low. But on the bus, I happened to be given a sign by the Baxter himself. A young Chinese boy was sneaking through the White House as Cory, and my face lit up. I took the boy's face and smashed it, wrapping it around the metal pole and spraying blood all over his elderly grandparents. I picked up the DS cartridge from the ground and took the bus driver into a chokehold. I told him, "Take me to GameStop. I've got new plans for Uncle Sam." I killed him as I stepped off by stuffing his face into the money dispenser, sliding his eye in and out of his socket, with the automated money rejected light beeping loudly. I smashed my face through the DS display case and walked home. I rammed the cartridge in immediately, and my mind went white. I felt oh. I had forgotten about my kids and they were long dead now. So I lay in front of my DVD player looping the episode where his sister Raven came to visit. I hated her so much. Spending all that time with Cory being his own kin, it made my blood boil. I punched through the set and let the glow of my DS carry me away into sweet oblivion. I wished to die as one with Cory. I clutched the DS hard, kissed the screen one final time and lay down. As I type this, I know that Cory descend to mortal form once more and say goodbye. I sit and wait for that day. He's my man. I will wait forever.
Truly
Wow.
inspiring
You see,
words.
this is beautiful. What could be better, alright? Great job, Disney. You guys pulled it off again. This game knocks every other memorable game from recent memory out of the water. This is so immersive and the story is so deep. You see, the thing is, I don't really... We know that the game is good, but we want to know people's stories with the game. We want to know people's experiences with the game, like with this 4-paragraph work of art.
Yeah, like it's one thing just to play the game, but it's another to have a personal connection to Cory.
Yeah, and you see all these reviews are 10 out of 10s. That's how you know the game is good.
Yeah, he's touched the hearts of many people.
It's so beautiful.
He's reached out to many people and saved their lives.
Oh, look at
It's
this.
so amazing.
The
It's so
Communist.
beautiful.
The Communist, all right? This is probably the greatest game I have the good fortune to ever even gaze upon the box art, let alone play it. I have merely played it for 2 hours and it has already changed my life. Before this game, I weighed 647 pounds. Now I weigh merely 178 pounds. It has gifted the gift of a good career in film directing and is guided through the troubles of early adulthood. This game is a second parent to me. Cory is my savior. All hail Cory and the might of the house. You've got to love the house. Personal experience. All right, I had never even seen a shooting star before. 25 years of rotation passes through the comet's paths and travel. And to my memory, I had never witnessed burning debris scratch across the night sky. I stared entranced, soaking in Disney Interactive's new material, chiseling each gameplay moment into the best functioning parts of my brain, which would be the only platform for the material for months. This is an emotional, psychological experience. Cory in the House plays like a clouded brain trying to recall an alien abduction. It's the sound of a development studio and its leader losing faith in themselves, destroying themselves, and subsequently rebuilding a perfect entity. In other words, Disney Interactive hated being Disney Interactive, but ended up with the most ideal, natural licensed game yet. The experience and emotions tied to playing Cory in the House are like witnessing the stillborn birth of a child, while simultaneously having the opportunity to see her play in the afterlife on IMAX. It's a game of sparking paradox. It's a cacophonous yet tranquil, experimental yet familiar, foreign yet womb-like, spacious yet visceral, textured yet vaporous, awakening yet dreamlike, infinite yet 2 hours long. It will cleanse your brain of those little crustaceans of worries and inferior games clinging inside the fold of your gray matter. The harrowing sounds hit from unseen angles and emanate with inhuman genesis. When the headphones peel off and it occurs that 6 men created this, it's clear that Disney Interactive must be the greatest developer alive, if not the best, since you know who breathtaking people made this game, and you can't wait to dive back in and try to prove that wrong over and over.
I am at a loss for words.
So true. Oh yeah, here we got two back-to-back personal experiences. This game is simply amazing. As soon as I saw it for sale at GameStop for $5.99, I knew I was in for a great game. The game's storyline is as good as the show's story. For all of you that don't know, Cory is a boy living in a house. Graphics are far superb compared to other Nintendo DS titles, and I was impressed by the soundtrack. It features hit songs from the show itself and other classic tunes. Warning to all parents thinking of buying their kid this game: has some very tragic scenes, and although comical at times, it can also be very serious. In conclusion, Cory in the House is one of the best video games I have played in my life and deserves the Game of the Year award for 2014. And here we got this is quite possibly one of the greatest games of all time. It changed my life. When my grandmother was dying in the hospital from cancer, I told her to play this game so that she could at least experience one last joy on this earth. Literally 1 day later, she is well enough to leave the hospital and her cancer is now in remission. If this game hadn't existed, my grandmother would be dead right now. Thank you, based Cory. Wait, this is
Cory has
this is from
literally,
2013. How are they calling Cory based?
I think back then, based had a different definition.
Or the game let them time travel. Cory in the House gives you powers. What more is
No, what
there?
happened is it happened far into the future. Like after the second resurfacing of Cory in the House, whenever the DS had its second reboot, second soft reboot, and came out for the second time in like 2074 after all of the brain chips failed,
All right,
and
yeah.
then like the powers of Cory, he had to go back in time and inform all of us from the past about the wonders that is Cory in the House and how we need to start praying to our Lord and Savior Cory.
Yeah. I might need a second shrine for Cory in the House. I might need a second one.
I'm going to need to create one in our band practice room now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Cory in the House is an outstanding game on its own, but it is also one of the best role-playing games ever made. Following the story of a psychologically corrupt African-American boy living life ironically enough in the White House, brought vividly to life by the power of the next-generation Frostbite 3 engine, Cory Baxter's outlook on life and how he deals with his everyday life and situation will move you and force you to think after completing this game. Troy Baker's performance as Cory is simply stunning and without a doubt one of the best performances of his career. The free-flow combat and dynamic camera angle are huge game changers in how we look at action RPG combat systems. Cory in the House delivers a simply stunning world that feels real and makes you wish it was. The story is outstanding and a truly an emotional roller coaster, bringing me to tears at some points of the game. If there is one game you pick up this season, buy Cory in the House. My life has changed as a result and forced me to push my personal, physical, and mental boundaries to become a better person. DICE Los Angeles and Bethesda Softworks have certainly struck gold with this piece of modern day gaming genius. Cory in the House is a game to be remembered for decades to come. Beautiful.
I am at a loss for words again. I'm going to start crying.
Yeah. See, this guy says it should be game of the year. This guy talking about the graphics. Yeah, I too am waiting for the next installment of the franchise. What would it be? Cory in the town? Cory in the mansion,
It
maybe?
has to be the house because
Cory in
that
the house too.
irony, that situational irony of a black kid in the White House. God, that is the best setting for a game ever. You cannot go without, because irony makes up a plotline. You can't have a plotline without irony. And that simple situational irony created by an African American kid in the White House. That is truly an inspiration to all narratives across the world today.
So true. At first, I didn't know what to think, but then quickly after I started playing, I realized Cory is love, Cory is life, Cory is God. Do not pass up this opportunity to play this game. If you value your soul at all, you won't give it another moment's thought. This game is truly something to behold. All right, look at this. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I was wandering the streets on a cold December morning when I decided to enter my local game store. I browsed the Xbox section, but only saw a few FPSs, racers, and action games. The only game we get fed these days. I was just about to leave the store when I remembered that I had a Nintendo collecting dust, so I went to browse the used DS game section. There wasn't any good titles there, but then I saw this game. Cory in the House was just in front of me. I was going to pass it up, but it was 99 cents. Because, of course, God makes his stuff accessible to all. I took the game to the desk and paid for it. The cashier said with a smile, Cory in the House? Oh, you're gonna love this. And I didn't doubt him at all. When I came home, I cleared the dust of my DS and sat it in. When I saw the Disney logo, I felt loved. I sat for a good 3 hours before I needed a break from the God's blessing. It was like an angel had delivered the baby Jesus to earth, except that it was a game inside a cover. The cutscenes were amazing. It even has a laugh track. Ocarina of Time doesn't have a laugh track. The minigames were fun and the graphics amazing. This truly is an instant classic. A Battletoads of our generation, amazing writing, glorious graphics, and bar-raising gameplay. This guy says
Truly,
Cory in the hotel, but they don't understand the irony and deeper meaning, the metaphors of Cory in the House.
yeah, Cory in the House is a meta commentary about how our society is ran by white people and how just being African American in a situation of power is just out of the norm for us as a whole. It is a
Yeah.
very emotional meta commentary on us as a peoples and how we are broken as a society, and it is made to empower and to make us just like whole. It's
This is
trying to instruct us on how to build the perfect society, but we won't listen because we are a stubborn race like that. While Cory, our Lord and Savior, took on this African American form to instruct us upon what we need to do to make our society complete so we can reach the true heavens that is the White House.
Amen. Cory in the House is a life-changing experience that has enabled me to socialize in society, get a wife, a job, and a beautiful house I have always dreamed of. For you see, before I played this game, I was a man who used his laptop nonstop, 13 hours a day. I slept for the other 11. I rejected society, ate takeaway nonstop, and refused to better myself. But Cory in the House changed me. It forced itself upon me in ways I've never felt before. It was almost religious, like a holy book. Every level had a life-changing lesson to be learned, and every character had a feeling to interpret. Cory, of course, was the biggest one of all. He reached places that were so far in the dark. I squeezed and refused at first, but eventually I let it consume me, and here I am today, fulfilled. Thank you, Cory. Oh, this one has spoilers. This is the game that inspired me to become a pro gamer. Easily the greatest game ever created and flawless in every aspect. The biggest surprise of the title comes from, spoiler warning, from the fact that Cory is indeed in the house. Whoa. It's beautiful. Oh, look at this. 10 minutes in, I had lost 2 liters of blood and my children were dead. The dark god Cory calls from beyond the nether. There's no escaping the war. He will come. Amen.
I think he's just a non-believer.
Non-believer. He calls Cory a dark god. Come on, man.
Cory isn't a dark god, he's a wrathful god, and you must obey him, and he will be nice to you if you obey him. If you don't obey him, however, and call him thy dark god, you shall know what it's like to be under the presence of a dark god, because what you perceive of him is what he will be to you.
Who is this
Because
idiot
that
who
is
put
the
a
name.
9? This guy put a 9 out of 10. We have to read it now.
Oh
Irrational
no.
Games has truly outdone themselves with their final game. Cory in the House makes you ask the serious questions, like, why is Cory in the house? Whose house is he in? And why does Cory need the house? You see, this idiot hasn't played the game. I'm
Yeah,
not
he
I'm
doesn't
not
know
even
that
reading.
it's the White House.
Idiot.
Like, for
Look
real.
at this. At first there was nothing. Men fought over selfish greediness and hatred. Then God say then God said, "Let there be Cory in the house DS." And light began to shine on man, and he began to learn to love. Cory in the house changed not only my life, but the lives of all things. It changed the course of history forever. Thank you, blessed Cory. Here we got another one. It is because of this game that I no longer wonder about the existence of a god. It is through his love that we are truly able to experience this divining blessing of a game, if it even may even be referred to in such lowly terms. Truly, this masterpiece could have only been the product of divine inspiration. Not since the original Pong has one game meant so much. Indeed, Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS means so much more. When scholars in the future look back, they will simply refer to the eras of gaming as pre-Cory and post-Cory. Cory in the House is one of the prime examples of video games as art, video games as a sport, and video games as a religion. This game has inspired me to sell everything I own and travel the country, spreading the word of our prophet Cory. As he has said in his message to the populace, I'm your man. Indeed, he is our man, the man that shall lead this nation out of the dark times into and into the White House. Beautiful.
If this video reaches goes viral, you need to buy Cory in the House and play it
I will,
on
I will, I will.
and
Wait,
record it.
how much is it? I'll cut this part out. How much is Cory in the House DS? Right in the House DS. It shouldn't be much. Oh, you know? Oh, wait. I can just get a sealed copy for 30 bucks? Wait, that's actually
You
wild.
have to get. I think you have to get the sealed copy
I have to get the sealed copy, yeah.
because
Oh
like
my God.
part of the experience is opening it because it's like the Pandora's box, but it seals all good things in the world instead of all bad things.
You're right. I've got to open a sealed DS game in 2023. Alright. Wait, when did the DS release? Oh yeah, 20 years ago.
Who who even led Cory in the House on the DS? Like who led the project?
Creators of Cory in the House DS. You see, it was the beautiful people at Handheld. That can't be right. We will check Wikipedia. You see, it was made by the beautiful people at Handheld Games and was published by Disney Interactive Studios.
But we need to know more. I want to
We
know
need to
who
know.
the lead
No.
director on the project
Oh
is.
my God, you're right. We need to know. Lead director, Cory in the House DS. Oh my God, wait, the credits are here. Oh my God. Oh, all right, the CEO and founder was Thomas L. Fessler. The COO was Maria C. Fessler. The vice president was Seth W. Rosenfield. Now here we have the production team. The producers were Deneen McDermott and Jerry Pritchard. The director of technical design was Daniel A. Kurlinski. The designers were Adam Butler, Tony Zaroff, Robert Kehoe, and Christopher A. Smith. The script was written by Jirin Tramis, and the additional script was written by Paul Merrill. Then, the technology team. Jake Torsett was the director of development. The lead programmer was Jonah Hoskins. The programmers were David Johnson, Kenneth Scott, and Noah Hobson Walker. And the technical director was Lyndon H. Moore III. It took 3 Lyndon H. Moores to get this game done because it was a massive undertaking. The tool engineers were Chris Knorr and Sarah Roberts, and the engine engineer was Matt Allen. You see, he made the game engine known as Earth. Additional programming was Robert Hunt and Brandon Johnson. Then here we have the art team, the music team. There's too many deities to go over here. So, anyways,
We shall pray.
back to it.
Cory, in heaven I stand before you today in your omnipotent presence to ask that you grant me strength. I want you to give me the strength to power through all my tasks today, whether little or big. It is your will that I owe Cory, and I know that it is your will that I will not go weak today. Amen.
Amen. Only a game based off of my favorite anime. This game reminds me of eggs because whenever I see an egg, I feel happy inside. It makes the voices go away. Thank you, Cory in the house. The end, 10 out of 10. Alright, here. Another personal experience. Before finding this game, it was as if my life was over. I lost my job, my wife, and my house within the space of a month. Before I knew it, I was standing at the side of a bridge ready to end it all. That's when it happened. As people surrounded me saying things like, "Don't do it," and "It's not worth it," one man emerged from the crowd, and in his hand, he held a copy of Cory in the House for the DS. He walked towards me and placed the box in my hand without saying a word. In my pocket was the 3DS I held so dearly to my heart, the only friend I had left in this world. I decided before I ended, I'd boot it up once more for old time's sake. I popped the cartridge in and started up the game. As the opening theme began to play, tears streamed down my face. There's no reason to end it here, I said to myself. I knew that no matter what, I had to continue living. Not for my wife or my boss, but for Cory. Since then, I got a new job, a new house, and even a new wife. Cory in the House literally saved my life, and I could not be any more thankful for that. I cannot recommend it enough to anyone, because this isn't just a game, it's art, and a masterpiece at that. Cory in the House will live on as a legend for all eternity. Even when a man fades to dust, when mankind has been all but forgotten, there will still be Cory. So join me on this wonderful journey through the life of Cory Baxter, and become part of the legend that is Cory in the House on DS.
Truly
It brings a tear to my
awe-inspiring.
eye. I am. Ugh. I must recite the sacred text. Woo, yeah, what's up? Go, Cory, go, go. Go, Cory, go, 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 go. Listen up, here we go. I'm the new kid moving in, getting it done. I'm talking about an all-out party, and we're getting it started. Mr. President, you mind some electric guitar? Washington, D.C. will never be the same because we've got Cory in the house. Yeah, it's a party every week, baby. Cory. Check it out. That's right, I'm in the house. He's gonna shake it up and change it. Shake it up. Take it all and rearrange it. Just a little bit. Got a new plan. Hey, Uncle Sam, look out now. We've got Cory in the house party. Cory in the house, I'm your man. And I'm officially the candidate for having some fun, you know. You better calm down, Cory. Yeah. He is truly,
Amen.
he is truly my man.
Amen.
Amen. All right. We got another good one. Cory in the House is very important to me. When I was 8, I contemplated self-harm due to the excessive bullying going on at school, and I am sad to say that I did eventually turn to it. One day during one of my cutting sessions, I was hallucinating due to blood loss, and I saw him. With a regal Nigerian aura to him, Cory appeared before me. He told me that there was a different way to deal with my pain, but in order to fix my wounds, he told me that we would need to bring in some heat. As we pondered the solution to my problem, we realized the best way to get some heat to apply to my wounds was to watch Cory shoot some threes. He gently carried me to the basketball court and set me down on the bleachers as he landed three-pointer after three-pointer. Both Cory and I could feel the temperature in the room rising. After the 1,776th consecutive three-pointer that he landed, the lava that started coming out of the ceiling shot at shot number 420 started undergoing nuclear fusion, and the gym turned into a supernova. The extreme heat closed my wounds and branded a holy sigil of Cory onto my forearm. As tears of joy and amazement rolled down my cheeks, I could say one thing only: Cory, you a busta.
I love hearing our fellow disciples on their empowerment to Cory. It is
Yeah.
truly a blessed thing to see.
So true. From the number one hit anime to your personal DS, Cory in the House delivers. This is no ordinary game. It is a new frontier in gaming. I bought my DS just for this game. There's no excuse for a true gamer not to play it. Oh. Oh my god. This looks good. Monday night in the spring of 2008, New York City. Staggering out of his... Where'd he go? Staggering out of the office, time approaching midnight, barely thinking straight, trying to rationalize the losing battle I fight in this balancing act of between my managerial duties at the Starbucks that hardly pays for this futile existence I'm condemned with, and the crumbling family that shares my sentence. I have to eat on the way home, lest my kin discover that I'm sustained with more than the stale bread and metallic water we eat and drink for every meal. Pizza. I bite into a slice too hot, using my tongue to tear the skin from the roof of my mouth. I attempt to squint into the acrid stream that's belching out of the sewer lids on the dark street. Through the foul suspension, I see a gathering of children beneath a brilliantly lit sign which reads GameStop. Muttering curses under my breath, I approach the storefront which so brazenly pollutes the peace of what must be the only tranquil road left in this godless city, and arrive just to notice how out of place the building is. On a strip of building that rests shoulder to shoulder, all filled to the brim with people just like myself, constantly clawing upwards towards that poverty line. This place rests alone on the corner, a perfect cube of about 15 feet each way, full of young children. As I enter the front door, I take in the peculiar sight of a store seemingly dedicated to only one product. It's a cartridge for the Nintendo DS, a handheld device my nagging wife coerced me into spending my last year's Christmas bonus on in an attempt to wrestle our rebellious 8-year-old boy into the human behavior. The box seemed so assuming, a smiling, slightly overweight African child on the cover who seems eager to share his adventures with me, yet without the zeal of desperation. I deduced from the title smeared across the packaging that this young child's name was Cory, and I felt oddly compelled to oblige his unspoken request. There was a price to this, of course. Today, the advertised price of adventure was $29.99, though unbeknownst to me, I would one day come to realize that the true price extended far beyond any monetary value imaginable. I vainly reached into my pocket without a second thought. I don't know why I bothered. I knew I only had $30 left until payday. A full week and a half away, the fleshy stalactite still hanging against my tongue, and the realization that I was unable to cover the tax on this transaction. I was overcome with a remorse so profound I almost found the ground rushing to meet me. I tossed my hands over my face in a meager attempt to hide my tears from the group of children around me. I left the store immediately and began on my way home. I couldn't make it half a block before, through teary eyes, I saw a small robin crying out. I crouched down to see why it was fussing, and say that someone had cruelly stapled a $5 bill to its wing. Rather than sadness, I felt a guiltless excitement. Pulling the money off of its wing quickly, I immediately started back to fulfill what now felt like my calling. Thinking back, I never so much looked at the anguished animal. I was far too consumed by the mind-bending desire to see this house that Cory apparently resided in. The next 5 minutes were unremarkable as they were damning. I simply made my way back to the store and purchased again with my newly found wealth. I then hurried home, not even affording my wife or child a hasty hello as I passed them on the way to my son's room. I quickly plugged his DS into the charger, and in one of the last conscious moments I could recall, I unwrapped the treasure from its prison, inserted it into the device, and pressed the power button. I understand that I should be writing a review, sharing my experiences with the game, giving a list of perhaps the pros and cons, and helping inform a potential buyer of the merits of such a purpose. It is in not doing such a thing where I fail you. Truth be told, I remember nothing of the experience beyond purchasing the game and turning it on. I have instead shared with you my last memories for a period of nearly 7 years. I found myself awakening 3 days ago to a bright light and the smell of smoke and burning plastic, leaving me dazed and senseless. After regaining my composure, I looked around myself and saw where I found myself was still my son's room, only completely empty, barring myself in a non-functional Nintendo DS. I looked down and saw that I had grown a long matted beard, and my hair reached the floor beneath me, so unlocked and unkempt that it seemed to be forming a cocoon around my entire body. I struggled to get up, not realizing just how long I had been seated, nor how much my physique had atrophied in that time. After what seemed to be days of agony, I managed to crawl my way out of the door of this room and into the hallway of my home, and saw on the date on the calendar, October 21st, 2014. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm not actually joking. I actually shed a tear.
That was beautiful. Oh my god. Oh my god. What is this? Alright. Sadly, the 5,000 character limit is not enough to clearly express my love for the game and Cory. First of all, the graphics. You would need two GTX 980 graphic cards and a decent overall processor to run on 1 FPS, but due to the overwhelmingly good scripting and programming, it can be played on the Nintendo DS. The graphics are 1,000 years ahead of its time. Secondly, the sneak and AI make the game more difficult than Dark Souls because of the realism. Thirdly, IGN are wrong. How could you give it 30 out of 100? Well, I don't know how this game got such low reviews from professionals companies when the general public gave it a 10 out of 10. We took out the insane people who gave it a 0 out of 10. Now, if you've ever been in the house, take that experience and times it by 1 or by infinity, and you still won't get the experience this game creates. Why on earth this game has a cap of 10 out of 10 when it needs to be higher? The attention to character detail made me cry. The story made me cry. The gameplay made me cry. Cory made me cry. Why the sequel hasn't come out yet is a mystery to me. Probably because Cory is busy eating. And then this is, I believe, their rating. It's 1, followed by a lot of zeros, and then out of 10. Hashtag Cory for life.
Because he's down, mathematics.
I don't know what you
So
said because you lagged out.
Cory transcends the arbitrary values of our mortal mathematics.
Yeah. He's,
His complexity, his complexity can only really model on the limit approaching infinite, really.
yeah. So true.
Because even its form can't be infinity in this world, so it can only approach closer and closer and
Yeah.
closer, because true infinity can't exist in this finite world.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. I bought this for a friend, and not only did he like it, he started a religion based off of Cory-sama and has began systematically converting everyone he knows. Highly recommended. Oh, and then this is Cory Waifu. This is Cory Waifu's friend. Cory is some pope. I am Cory Waifu's friend, and he will be one of my apostles. I am now trying to start a nuclear war between China, Russia, and the United States. Only then can I build a society dedicated to the one true God, Cory. His perfect ebony skin, his smile, his holy groove, and beautiful guitar shall wash over the heathens who worship Shrek. So true! Cory is better than Shrek.
That is real.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, we got another good one. Alright. Let's see Joshua's experience with the game. Some time ago, my friend told me a story featuring this game. It goes like this. One day, my friend was walking back home from school through the woods. It was a very special day to him. That day was his birthday, but something didn't feel right. He felt vibrations near his legs. It was his phone. He picked it up and suddenly felt a terrible chill go down his spine. The doctor called him and told him his mother had cancer. His world got destroyed in such a short moment that he couldn't believe it. He felt empty inside. With no way to escape the world surrounding him, he descended into darkness. The darkness was all around him, like they were connected by some kind of force he couldn't explain. He closed his eyes as he lied on the ground and merely awake, whispered to himself, "There's no hope left. I am ready to leave this world as that I didn't deserve to be in anyway." But he didn't die. He was waiting. As his soul was slowly leaving him, he felt a warm touch. He opened his eyes, but he still couldn't believe it. It was Cory. His black hand was slowly along his leg, heading towards his rear. "Am I in heaven?" he asked, but Cory smiled at him and replied, "No, not yet." Cory grabbed his hand and spoke to him. My friend had many questions, yet Cory was calm. He answered every question he asked him. They were holding hands like a lovely couple. My friend was finally happy with Cory, but everything has to end, so this heavenly time had ended too. "I must go. Jesus is waiting for me," said Cory. "Don't leave me. I don't want to go back to the mortal world again. My mother has cancer. I don't have anything. "Don't cry, my child," he said calmly as he put the big black package into my friend's pocket. "It will help you to survive this time," he said as he slowly entered heaven again. My friend was blinded by the light he emitted. He knew it was a gift from God. He woke up from the ground, checked his pocket, and he found this game, beautifully packaged using black tape and black paper. It truly was a miracle. He ran to the hospital and let his mom play it. He didn't believe it, but Cory was suddenly there, in the game, waiting for them, with a giant black banner with a huge black happy birthday on it. Suddenly his mother felt better. The very next day the doctor called him again. He couldn't believe it, but his mother didn't have cancer anymore and was ready to leave the hospital the next day. He wasn't surprised, however, as he knew that Cory had the power to do anything. Now he prays to Cory every day, thanking him for his mother. This really is the gift from the God. Here we have a poem about Cory. "I was only 9 years old. I loved Cory in the house so much. I had all the merchandise and movies. I pray to Cory every night before bed, thanking him for the life I've been given. Cory is love, I say. Cory is life. My dad overhears me and calls me crazy. I knew he was just jealous of my devotion for Cory in the house. I called him a no man's sky. He slaps me and sends me to go to sleep. I'm crying now and my face hurts. I lay in bed and it's really cold. A warmth is moving towards me. I feel something touch me. It's the Cory in the house DS game. I'm so happy. He whispers in my ear, play me more. A mystical power puts me on my hands and knees. I'm ready. I grab my DS and put the Cory in the house cartridge in it. It penetrates my soul. My eyes hurt, but I do it for Cory in the house. I can feel my hands tearing as my eyes start to water. I only start playing harder. I want to please Cory. The DS makes a mighty roar as he fills my soul with his love. My dad walks in. My DS looks him straight in the eye and says, Cory isn't in your house. My DS and the Cory in the house cartridge leave through the window. Cory is love. Cory is life. 10 out of 10 game. So true.
Amazing. I honestly thought that one take a different route multiple times.
Same. Since I was a lad, I longed for a distraction from my dull, boring life. I grew up in a small town, knew everybody, and everybody knew me. When I was 18, I started to question what life really was about. I did research and started writing poems to see if anything sparked up a good answer. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was walking back from school and decided to cross the bridge for a longer, peaceful walk. I heard a noise, became louder and louder. As I turned around, I was struck by a car and it brought me off the bridge into the river. I did not feel any pain, but I could see the driver drowning as the car sunk. I wanted to help him, so I ripped off the roof of the car and pulled him out. I could not believe what strength I had and how I was hurt at all. The driver and I became friends. We helped each other with problems, and I always asked him this question about life. One day he approached me and he told me he found the answer to life. As I searched for this answer for years, I could not believe him when he told me. The answer first startled me because under the Act of Z, we could not speak of such things as he was saying. The punishment for breaking this law was death. There were obvious ways to avoid being caught, so I brought him to a safe location and asked what his answer was. His response was Cory. Cory was the light, the everlasting and superior mind to all. This game, Cory in the House, is the answer to all scientific discoveries and all religious debates about God. I woke up and I was in a hospital bed. The year was 2020 and I had been in a coma for 20 years. I emerged stronger and faster. Everyone was curious because all men were asking about the question of life, the same one I asked 20 years ago. I went to the closest apothecary and asked if they had a copy of Cory in the house, and thankfully they had one left, and I brought this to the mayor and explained my epiphany. He agreed to play this wonderful game, and he was lifted to the Lord. Cory gave him the strength to rise into heaven without being dead. This game is the answer to all questions, the answer to God. This game gives you access to heaven. Cory is God. I am Superman, and I approve this message. Amen.
Amen.
All right. In my life, I have played many games which have been noted of great. Batman, Arkham City, Grand Theft Auto, The Legend of Zelda. All of these games have been considered some of the best games in recent years. However, what these games lack is the raw emotion and raw power a game is actually able to bring. I was walking around inside a Best Buy with a Spider-Man mask on in hopes of getting something free. I went up to this man and asked for anything free, and he gave me what was soon to be my favorite game, Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS. My Best Buy is far from the house, so I decided to just play it in the parking lot. I threw my copy of New Super Mario Bros. Out the window and popped in Cory in the house. Ever since the opening credits, I knew I was in for something, and that something was the greatest game I've ever played in my entire life. Let's start with the story, which is fantastic. Now, if you've read several reviews of the game, nearly every review has a different story. For some, it's protecting the world against Cory bots, or for others, Cory saving the world of World War III. I'm proud to say that every cartridge of the Cory in the house is a different story. This keeps the game from getting boring after a day or two. You will never get bored of this game. All of the stories are not only amazing, but in some ways truly emotional. Several nights I had dreams of Cory protecting the United States, while others deep nightmares of what happened in the game. This review has no spoilers, by the way. The graphics are also spectacular. I felt like I was playing 16K graphics that were similar to the PlayStation 8, only on a Nintendo DS. Trust me, several times I had to knock myself out of the game in order to realize it was all a game. Finally, one of the best parts of the game is the gameplay. Half beat 'em up, half shooter, half stealth, half detective, half government, half busta, you name it. That adds up. The game has it all, and the gameplay along with the graphics and story just go together flawlessly like Nutella on bread, calling it a breakfast food, when it's the dessert. Now, several critics have given this game a crap review. There's theories going around saying that companies like Sony and Microsoft are paying these critics to give these 10 out of 10 a horrifying 3 out of 10. These critics are the kinds that will kill the gaming industry, especially since we were trying to save it with Cory in the house. Now, that Best Buy story you heard was actually a couple of years ago, and now I have over 100 copies of the game and loved every moment of it. This game costs $1.99 used at GameStop. The reason why it's so cheap is because no human dollar amount can pay for how amazing this game is. So instead, it's so cheap that everybody in the world must make sure to play it. If you haven't played this game, throw that copy of Assassin's Creed Unity and Destiny out of the window and turn on your DS for Cory in the house. You won't regret it. Wait, hold up. I can get more Cory in the house. Let me check GameStop. Cory in the house. Wait, what? No. 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 I have no idea what you just said because you lagged again.
I named off that list.
That was slightly less lag.
GameStop is sacrilegious.
Yeah, so true. They're the non-believers all work there. That's why the stock all went down the other day. The other year. Random recipe.
Copy and paste in the recipe.
Alright. Maybe this will give us a clue to Cory's whereabouts. Oh my god, I found it. It's on Facebook. Oh, I found it. It's here. This is Cory.
What is
Homemade potato salad. Alright, then. I don't know why, but
I think that's one of the apostles of I think that's one of the apostles of the
it could be. It could be one of the apostles.
It may look like an innocent potato salad dish, but since no one follows recipes on Facebook, it could be the true way to find God.
You're right. Anyone who sees this video, we need everyone to follow Pat Neely on Facebook and make this beautiful dish. We will bring Coryism back. Here we have Cory as God. There is always reasons for individuals to cause someone to feel isolated. Cory in the House for the DS is a perfect representation of this truthful idea. The game fully shows the tendency of people to alienate individuals that do not comply to the conventions of society. Through the conscious use of characterization, the story effectively presents the player with the central idea of the nature of human beings. Individuals' inclination to alienate nonconformists have been prevalent throughout all of history. The story of the 2008 classic Cory in the House is no exception to this. In the story, Cory had committed adultery in a strict African American conservative society which mercilessly punished sinners. The residents of the White House forced him to stand on a scaffold and wear an A for adultery. The game's narrator stated that there was no outrage more flagrant than to forbid the culprit to hide his face for shame. Game script 39 to 40. The scaffold and A was used to absolutely humiliate Cory. The extensive conservative town strived to embarrass him so terribly because his sin was largely against their beliefs. As a result, Cory was incredibly outnumbered, and no resident dared to openly support him. The whole town aimed to humiliate with him without any objection because she was not the conventional conservative. Well-developed stories need characterization. The story of Cory in the house uses characterization to further portray the central idea that society alienates non-standard people. In the game, the players witness the comparison of Cory and the women who show disgust towards him. The game portrays the women as all being similar, having been raised on the same beef and ale, and being an unsuitable representation of the gender. Game script 36. On the other hand, Cory is represented as a young man of perfect elegance. Game script 38. Clearly, Cory stands out from the women who despise him. However, his appearance stands as more than merely his unique beautiness. The harsh conservatives gave Cory a burden of openly known sin. Unlike the women who disliked him, Hester held the sin, which is seen in their varied features. His appearance was like his known history of sin in society, the sin which made him unique and constantly hated. There are several other truthful themes and universal central ideas which are shown in the complex and intriguing game of Cory in the House. The game, with its countless layers on narrative and seamless rhetoric, should not go under the title merely of game. Cory in the House is an enthusiastic applause of how the randomization of profundity transcends into the language of intellectual property, hence being the zenith of the gaming industry. It is not a sycophant, rather it is truculent towards the innovation of the gaming industry, being staid and not oblivious, as much as it is lithe and jubilant. I couldn't have said. I'm a huge fan of this Japanese string of text, or as it is known in the West as Cory in the House. When I heard Disney Interactive, creators of such hits as the MMO Club Penguin, and the critically acclaimed Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow / Donald Duck in Maui Mallard, was making a game based on Cory in the House, I was excited. The trailer shown on Disney Channel amazed me. I went to the midnight release and cosplayed as Sophie Martinez, aka the President's daughter. As I pop in the cartridge into my Nintendo DS, I'm stunned on how breathtaking graphics, amazing score, witty dialogue by the great Garen Taramis, and the characters you can get into and deeply understand as a whole. The game may be short during that span of time the game offers a lot of content. Disney Interactive must create a sequel to this game with the capabilities of Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Wii U. Amiibo for Cory, Mena, and Newt. Too bad the release date was around GTA 4, Mario Kart Wii, and Assassin's Creed. Cory in the House deserves a watch at least once. Disney Interactive has achieved an impressive status thanks to Cory in the House. This guy is comparing it to Hannah Montana the video game and E.T. This game is much better than that. Idiot. Possibly the most life-changing experience Cory in the House has brought me is peace in my depressing life. I was diagnosed with severe depression. I was at the end of the road, ready to end it all, and then a friend reached out to me on my final day. He came over and gave me a copy of this glorious game. Said no words and left. I was in total shock. Really, Cory in the House? I popped in the game, and at that very instant, I found myself in a daze thinking about everything that happened in my life. When Cory pooped on my screen, my eyes found a new hope. This teenage man brought me out of my self-loathing depression. I came to terms with my inner demons and started a new life. I'm now married with a beautiful woman with 3 kids. Can you guess the names? I highly recommend anyone who's suffering at home to please get this game. Your life will change forever.
See, now this person's kind of terrifying because we all know that Cory in the House, when you play it, if you aren't a chosen one, it just gives you a game about bobbleheads. But if you are
Yeah,
chosen, it's tailor-made by Cory to set you on your path for righteousness and to set you on the path that you are required to take for Cory. So I'm genuinely terrified why Cory pooped on the screen in this playthrough. Like, what is this person supposed to do in his life?
it must be a strategic
Totally.
move. Oh, here we got another
Yeah.
good one. When life gives you lemons, you get lemonade. When life gives you Jesus, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr. combined, it gives you Cory in the House. Video games mine post-apocalyptic themes so often that it's easy to numb to the sight of ruined cities. Often the end of humanity is a striking backdrop for yet another first-person shooting gallery. As a result, these epic on-screen calamities almost feel rote. In Cory and the House, Disney Interactive Studios bring the impact of the end of civilization home by narrowing its scope. It doesn't focus on the fate of the planet, but on a pair of survivors who band together to navigate the dangerous and emotional aftermath of a disease that has decimated mankind. Cory in the House tells the story of Cory, a taciturn smuggler, and Mina, a brash young girl. They are brought together by chance in the months following a global epidemic that's killed millions and left thousands of others wandering the country's sightless, feral infected. This duo's journey starts with a simple transaction. In exchange for a cache of weapons, Cory and his partner Newt are tasked with delivering Mina to a group of revolutionary survivalists who believe she holds the key to a possible cure for the disease. It ends with one of the most complex conclusions I've ever seen in a game. In Between You experiences survival adventure that features both quiet beauty and brutal violence in abundance. The concept of survival serves as the core of Cory in the House. Ammunition supplies are scarce and must be scrounged in deserted buildings or created from cast-off materials through a crafting system. You constantly live in fear of both the horrifying infected, the vicious runners and the twisted clickers, and the ragtag human sects that still roam the barren cityscape. While most games sell the fantasy of superhuman powers, Cory in the House constantly reminds you of your vulnerability. Stealth is the key to your survival, as overwhelming odds often encourage you to remain in the shadows before leaping out and perform graceless executions with blunt instruments like shivs. If events escalate into melee or gunplay, you are forced into tense, harried battles that leave you breathless. While I notice the game never lets you feel at ease during combat, the play mechanics from stealth to the weapons are solid. I notice the occasional AI lapses and some of the trial of error frustration that creeps into any game rely heavily on stealth, but overall it's an impressive action game that distills the strength of the survival horror genre, something that's both deeper and more accessible. I'm gonna skip these two paragraphs because they talk about other games such as The Last of Us. Though Cory and Mina's journey is grim, it remains rooted in one of the most poignant, well-drawn relationships I've ever seen in video games. The light, campy quality of the That's So Raven series causes some to overlook Disney Interactive's brilliance at creating realistic, believable dialogue. Using its skill in service of Cory and the House's somber tale, the studio created another high mark for interactive storytelling. As Cory and Mina's relationship grows, we come to know them as friends, giving each fight to save their lives real weight. What's left unsaid in this game is just as important as the lines that are spoken. Disney Interactive Studio frequently lets its haunting vision of a deserted countryside speak for itself, effectively and gorgeously conveying the loneliness that comes with living on after the end of the world. Cory and the House is a deeply felt, shockingly violent game that questions what we're willing to sacrifice and, more disturbingly, what we're willing to do to save the ones we love. The conclusion offers no easy answers. You won't forget it. And
This apostle must have played the game must have played the game, and Cory must have had a really important job for him whenever
yeah,
he gave him this specific playthrough. I
yeah,
think he was instructed on how to save the world from coronavirus.
yeah. You see, and this was back in 2016. So I think this guy didn't beat the game. That's the end of the page.
Now
It's
we shall
it's
end
today's
today's
worship.
worship with a prayer. So gather around and let me quickly prepare this prayer for us.
After this, we gotta go pray. It's 11:35 p.m. So we gotta pray soon to on our
All right,
shrines.
give me a second.
All right.
Okay.
Wait. Cory in the house, yes. All right. Hang on. All right. Now go.
Woo. Yeah. Yeah. What's up? Go, Cory. Go, Cory. Go. Listen up. Here we go. I'm the new kid moving and getting it done, and I'm officially the candidate for having fun. You know, you better calm down, Cory. Yeah. I'm talking about an all-out party, and we're getting it started. Mr. President, you mind some electric guitar? Washington, D.C. will never be the same because we Cory in the house. Cory, check out. Let's run out. He's gonna shake it up and change it. Shake it up. Take it all and rearrange it a little bit. Got a new plan. Hey, Uncle Sam, look out now. We got Cory in the house party. Cory in the house. I'm your man. That is the opening to all religious texts in the house, the main prayer. Now we shall bow our heads and say amen.
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 All right. Oh, it's 11:37 p.m. This is in Cory's in the house lore. This was the time the game was finished. So we gotta go pray. Uh, uh,